Welcome to another episode, everyone. S-Born from Rolling 60's and K5 from VNG Bloods. Both reputable individuals, and they had a brutal, epic clash in the Los Angeles County Jail. The Los Angeles County Jail, no one can really escape the violence that besets the Los Angeles County Jail, whether you are a non-affiliate or a thugged-out gang member. You will be tested. Your fortitude and strength will be tested consistently in the Los Angeles County Jail. It's unfortunate, really, all of the violence that surrounds the Los Angeles County Jail, prisons, and the world at large. Me personally, I hate violence, so I am not recalling these stories to glorify them, but just to give you the information, the education. Hopefully you can take heed and find something in it to turn yourself around. I only become violent in defense of myself or my loved ones or my beliefs. Other than that, I really want peace. I don't like violence. I don't like seeing people get hurt. I never have. I'm serious. But that's me. S-Born and K5, on the other hand, had no problem with violence. In fact, they had a propensity for violence. And they're in the Los Angeles County Jail where everyone is trying to make their bones, make a name for themselves, or keep the name that they already have. They're not going for any slights whatsoever. And K5, well, he's well known from VNG Bloods. And he indeed had quite a few squabbles in the Los Angeles County Jail. I cannot take anything from that man. And I've already related recently about S-Born, briefly at least, and his proclivity towards violence. And when the two met up there in the module, K5, standing on business, I suppose, had dissed the whole neighborhood car. He said, fuck whoop-de-whoop, not neighborhood. He said the word that disrespects the neighborhoods. He said the word. And the word got out that K5 had said this word out on a tier. And S-Born caught wind of it. And being the individual that he indeed is, did not hesitate to approach. Went to K5's cell. And he asked, specifically, looked him right in the eye, and said, who said fuck such and such? K5, being the individual that he is, readily said, it was me. I said fuck whoop-de-whoop. Wow. No hesitation. And without hesitation, S-Born responded, we gonna get down, bro. We gotta get down. That's the appropriate response. That's the immediate response from anyone. Had they had access to each other right then and there, certainly it would have went up right then and there. But K5 was inside of his cell. K5 said, yeah, for sure, bro, we gonna get down. Now, these are both some big individuals. K5 is not a small dude, and neither is S-Born. S-Born was skinny somewhat at one point, but at this time he was still skinny too. But he had points in time where his weight, he had put a little weight on, and he wasn't as skinny. But he's a tall dude, and so is K5, and K5 just appears to have that old man strength. He just appears to be a strong individual and one that you would think twice about getting into a fight with. He just gives off that persona, real or not. But S-Born, well, what he may lack in size, he makes up for in heart. And they set it up so that they'd go in the day room and settle their differences. They made their way to the day room not long thereafter. It's not hard. This is an everyday occurrence. There in the volatile Los Angeles County Jail, people meet up inside of cells, inside of the day room, and squabble for some time. Someone said, how can someone fight for hours? Well, in the Los Angeles County Jail and even in prison inside of the cell, it's possible. It has happened many times. And it pretty much happened here in this situation. As they made their way to the day room, there was not much talk, not much to be said. Everyone knew why they were there. The two individuals themselves knew why they were there, to squabble. Nothing to resolve except mano a mano fisticuffs. It's the only way that this situation is going to be resolved. So they put up their dukes and locked up. No hesitation, no talking. They squabbled up. Now, at first, K5 was throwing some blows. He was indeed. And Esborn was taking them and swinging back. These are two strong individuals, not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. At this time, anyway, they were both stand-up dudes. And I know what that's like. You don't want to give up nothing. You willing to die for it. It is what it is when you're that entrenched in the game. These two individuals were, and neither one was going to give up an inch. So they're going at it, and they're squabbling, and they're not talking, but they fighting. K5 finally went up against the table, and Esborn was on him in the day room, up against the table. Bam, bam, bam. Now Esborn is talking a little bit, rolling 60, because he had dissed the hood. K5, he's not backing down whatsoever. They going at it, and they're both bleeding eventually. And they're both tired, exhausted, breathing hard. The fight is going on for some time. There are no police there. The police know what's going on, as they often do. They don't care. They'll set it up. This is the city. This is the Los Angeles County Jail, where even the strong sometimes do not survive. As they continue to go at it, they both decided to take a rest. Hold up, bro. All right, hold on. Woo, woo. They both went to their corners and was literally huffing and puffing, breathing, catching their breath quick, like, all right, fuck that, woo, and going back at it. Bam, 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 locking up. One might say, like, all right, hold on. And the other one, like, hell, there ain't no hold on, because now he didn't call his breath. So it's a bit of hatred between the two. It's not just your normal squabble. Esborn had really taken umbrage to this individual dissing all of the neighborhood Crips and took it upon himself to rectify that situation. So he was not inclined to stop anytime soon. But neither was K5. He was not going to give an inch and be the one to say, I give up. Neither one wanted to be the one to say, all right, bro, that's it. Sometimes that happens during this fight. All right, bro, you good? Yeah, I'm good. All right. Shake hands and, that's it. Motherfuckers bleeding, eyes busted. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Whoop, I've seen it a million times. I've seen untold brutality behind those walls. This was an epic, brutal one, and they continued not wanting to give an inch. And the fight continued. They would squabble. Bam, 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 bam. Boom, boom, boom. Two big dudes going at it. People in the day room like, damn, these dudes ain't finna stop, bro. And nobody's about to get in and try to stop it. They're there to squabble. They're there to fight. It's their decision when the fight's going to be over. It's not for anyone else to step in and say, all right, bro, that's enough. They decide when it's enough. They the ones that's squabbling. They the ones that have an issue with each other. It's not your job, not your business to get involved in that. Now, if that was one of my homies from my hood or whatever, I might say, all right, bro, that's enough. Depending on the situation, that has happened, of course. But neither one of these dudes can I jump in and speak on. They're going at it, and no one else can really jump in and speak on it. They're going at it. And it's just nonstop action. And if I'm being honest, S-Born, well, he did begin to get a little on K5. K5 was wearing down some. And S-Born still had adrenaline and was going at him. I'm not going to say he beat K5 up or nothing like that, because K5 held it. They were squabbling. I recently saw K5. I don't even be on Instagram much, ever. But I saw him on K5 talking about, I saw K5 on Instagram talking about this fight recently. And I saw him say that S-Born is the only neighborhood that has ever given him a squabble, ever. Like, in other words, he done beat everyone up that he done squabbled. S-Born is the only one that even gave him a good fight. But I'm going to say that that's an understatement. He didn't just give K5 a good fight. He was in there pounding. Some would say he won the fight. But it's not really about who won, because neither one of them lost that fight. They were both going at it and not going to give up nothing. They were both leaking, bleeding, tired, exhausted. It was brutal. It was an epic, brutal battle. I've seen this a couple of times where people are literally going to their corner to take a rest in the day room, sitting down, or in the cell. All right, bro, hold up. You go to your bunk, you go to his bunk, you sit down, for minutes. You sit down taking a break. You just like in a boxing match. You go 12 rounds or what have you. You get a break after every round. You need it. And when you're about to go at it for some time, have 12 rounds with this individual, and sometimes it's like that, even in the county jail. How can someone go 12 rounds and the police not get a hold of the situation? How can they fight for that long? In many ways. As I said, inside of a cell, you'll go at it, your cellies. 4, 5, 6 of y'all inside of the cell. 2 of y'all going at it. You go at it, then you take a break. Y'all ain't going nowhere. You're in the cell together. Take a break. All right, bro, hold on. And then lock back up. I've seen it a million times. And this is exactly what S-Born and K5 was doing. Taking breaks and then locking back up. It was bananas. No one would let up. It was bloody. It was vicious. It was brutal. Hatred was involved. It was eventually over. It literally took a very long time for that fight to end. One of the longest. Because these two individuals were not let up. But it finally did resolve itself. Sometimes individuals shake hands. All right, bro, all right, especially after the epic battle. Y'all respect one another even more. And they're like, all right, bro. But it was really none of that. S-Born was still hot. Because he had dissed the whole neighborhood. He was still hot. Ain't no friendship. No handshaking. We're going to squabble again, if anything. Every time we see each other. It's one of those type of situations. Really no peace made between the two. And hopefully, one day soon, we'll all get to a point, including individuals with as much animus between them as S-Born and K5, can look one another in the eye and say, I love you, brother, and mean it. And say, I'm willing to die for you, brother, and mean it. Not that I want to harm you, see violence upon you, seek violence upon you. Never. I'll defend you. Hopefully, one day we can all get to that point, and I believe that we will. What's that gonna look like? Look, watch our world. This is what they don't want. This is why they've been creating all this division from day one, knowing if these individuals ever unite and come together, we in fucking trouble. Understand this. The black man is not outnumbered. The black man have billions of people on earth. We are not the minority. We are the majority in the world. And when we all come together, and they better hope we don't come together seeking retribution, then it's going to be hell to pay. Shout out to S-Born and K5. Two strong individuals at that time who would not let up and were relentless. But let's put that shit down and love one another. Peace. Yeah, stay safe and stay free. People.